Hi friends, you're welcome back, and in the third video we are going to look at the operations of complex numbers, and we shall start with addition. We want to see how to add these complex numbers. Say for instance, if we are given the first complex number z1, which is x plus iy, for those who were with me in the first video, you knew that any complex number can be written in this form. Then say another complex number z2, which is a plus I bar. Then to add z1 plus z2, which can be expressed in this form, the first complex number plus the second complex number. The addition says that we add the corresponding parts of the complex number. Meaning here we shall look at the real part of the first complex number and the real part of the second complex number, that is x plus a, because x is the first or the real part of the first one and a is the real part of the second complex number, plus, now if we are going to the imaginary parts, we shall have I representing the imaginary part. Then we look at the corresponding imaginary parts, that is the first imaginary part being y plus the second one, which is bar. And this is the way of how we can add any complex numbers z1 plus z2. Then if we take an example that is having numerical values, if we are given z1, which is a 3 plus 2i, here the real part is a 3 and the imaginary part is 2, and say z2, which is negative 1 minus negative I, here the real part is negative 1 and the imaginary part, remember we say the imaginary part, we don't look at the I, but we look at the value that is being multiplied with the I. And here the value, because it is not showing any value, we always say there is a silent 1. So there is a 1 here, which is the imaginary part of the second number. So if we are to add z1 plus z2, we shall look at the real part of the first complex number and the real part of the second one, that is 3 plus negative 1, then plus I. The imaginary part here is 2, then the imaginary part here is negative 1. And if you simplify this, it gives us 2. If you simplify this other part here, it gives us 1, but together with the I. So we have I times 1, which is I, and these 2 comes. So this becomes the sum. So the second one that we are going to look at is subtraction. We want to see how to subtract the complex numbers. It is more of the same of addition, but here if we are given the first complex number being x plus iy, then the second one z2 being a plus I bar, then z1 minus z2, if we are subtracting the two complex number, we shall get the first one, x plus iy, minus the second one, which is a plus I bar. And still the algorithm is the same. We look at the real parts of the two and we subtract them. That is x minus a plus, if we are going to the next one, that is the real part, the imaginary part, we shall have to say, because the subtraction only will be dealing with the respective parts, we shall say plus I, and we shall then subtract the imaginary parts of the two complex numbers. Someone may be asking, why am I saying plus? Here we say plus because we are moving, always the standard complex number is with plus. It's only when these two produce a negative that will come and affect this positive that is in the middle here. So if we have a real example having numerical values, and that is to say z1 being equal to negative 2 plus 3i, and z2 being equal to 4 minus 10i, then if we are to get z1 minus z2, this will be the first z, or the first complex number, negative 2 plus 3i, minus the second one, which is 4 minus 10i. And with this, we said that we shall be having the real parts being subtracted, meaning we shall have the real part of the first complex number, which is -2, minus the real part of the second one, which is 4, then plus I into, we look at now the imaginary parts. Here the imaginary part is 3, and here the imaginary part is -10. But still we shall say 3. Following this, we say minus. Then we look at the imaginary part of the second one, which is -10. And this will be -5 plus -4 gives -6, plus I into 3 minus -10, this gives 13, and this gives us -6 plus 13i. This becomes the results of Z1 minus Z2. That's how we subtract. In the second video, we shall be having multiplication and division. And also for those who are interested, I'll be leaving some study materials in the group. Thank you.